We'll take it now to the preseason winners and losers from Week 3. And first off, sorry for everyone who watched the game. You were a loser on that one because that was not a pretty game to watch whatsoever. First up on the winners' side, though, was Joe Looney. And I'll be honest, I think I have come around on Looney. I was very concerned when Frederick first went down because I didn't really trust Looney, but he looked very good against the Cardinals. He was solid, proved he is ready to start. 30 snaps in that game. Not a single pressure was allowed. He moved very well. They still ran some of those center pulls, and Looney handled that play very well. So I feel much better about Joe Looney, even for several games, and frankly, I think he's one of your top 6 offensive linemen because we'll get to Cam Fleming later. He's been a bit of a mess. Looney is in better shape this year, cut some weight down, still the team's practical joker, but I feel pretty confident overall about Joe Looney right now. I think they're in a much better spot than to what they were beforehand, or at least the way I felt about it beforehand. They'll be fine with Looney at center, even though I don't know if he's going to be an ideal 16-game starter. They are in a much, much better spot than what I thought they could have been before that. We'll stick on the offensive line here. Another winner, Connor Williams. And I know there was some concern about Sewell because he isn't great against strength and power. I thought he was better against Arizona. 30 snaps, just the one hurry. I thought he was fine in the run game when the Cowboys actually had the football. Now, there's still going to be issues against really strong defensive linemen. When the Cowboys play Damon Harrison, I'm going to be a little bit worried about Sewell. But overall, I think he's going to be a reliable starter. He's going to be a good guard. He's not going to be a superstar Pro Bowl lineman like Zach Martin was in his first year, but he's going to be a reliable player. I trust Connor Williams. I'm not that concerned about him. The Cardinals game, I think, kind of reaffirmed my belief in him. He'll be a fine starter in Week 1 and hopefully for all 16 games, or I should say more than 16 games because playoffs, right, for the Cowboys. Folks, if you like this shirt I'm wearing, you can get your own via Mizzen and Main. Go to comfortable.af, and trust me, the URL checks out. These shirts are indeed comfortable as F. You will not own a more comfortable shirt than this Mizzen and Main shirt. And hey, they're made in America too. What a perfect way if you're a fan of America's team. All right, next up, how about Dres Anderson? Kind of pronounced like there's Z's, not S's at the end of his name there. Was signed by the Cowboys on August 15th, and I thought he looked pretty good against the Cardinals. Now, he's not going to make the active roster. He's not going to be that guy. Maybe he could be a practice squad guy for a year, and then see what happens next year. I liked what I saw out of Anderson. Was good against Arizona. 4 receptions, 52 yards. A quality effort there as one of the team's backup wide receivers. I think we'll see plenty of him in Week 4 of the preseason. Look, he's not going to be a roster guy, but maybe he can make it as a practice squad player or at least help himself out with a different team. So good job there, Anderson. On to defense, as the defense continues to look good when the starters are out there. Randy Gregory, a no-brainer winner. A is now your starter at right defensive end. I was wrong about Crawford not going back inside to DT. And Gregory's going to play a lot this year, mostly on passing downs. My initial thought when I heard that Gregory was going to get the start, I thought that maybe you could see Crawford at defensive end on base downs and Gregory in there on passing downs. What I think you might see more of, actually, is on base downs, maybe you see some more Taco Charlton. And then Gregory comes in for the most part in nickel packages because that's what most teams run out of anyway. And you see DeMarcus Lawrence, Antoine Woods, Crawford, Gregory, and I think Malik Collins mixed in somewhere in there as well. And then David Irving at some point you would imagine too. But Gregory, I thought looked fantastic against the Cardinals. The dude almost had a sack on a screenplay. Like, Gregory is good to go. I am very confident about Gregory making an impact. I don't know if it's going to be the 10-plus sacks or whatever, but I originally put my over-under at 4.5. I'm taking the over now. I think he's going to get at least 5 sacks this year. Gregory, if he plays all 16 games, looks the part, looks like the guy the Cowboys hope to get out of Nebraska. I cannot wait to see him play this year. This Cowboys front 4 is going to be great. This entire defense, I think, is going to be a borderline, if not actual, top 10 defense this season. Another winner on defense. How about Charvarius Ward? I've been looking for several weeks now for a number 5 cornerback to step up. And I think Charvarius Ward did that in Week 3 against the Cardinals. He hadn't been great before this, but against Arizona, 1 tackle, he was targeted twice, and he broke up both those passes. As of right now, I lean towards Charvarius Ward being the Cowboys' number 5 cornerback behind, of course, Cheeto and Byron Jones and Anthony Brown and Jourdan Lewis in some particular order. I think that Ward right now is your favorite to be the number 5 guy over Marquez White, over Duke Thomas. Those 2 guys haven't made many plays. Ward at least has. So I will lead towards Ward right now as your number 5 corner. But the reality is, Week 4 doesn't matter that much. I think it will matter, though, for that number 5 role. Is it going to be Ward, Thomas, White, Donovan Olumba? Will they go with 6 and then cut somebody to make room for a safety? We'll have to wait and see on that end. One more winner, again, on the defensive side of the ball. How about Jourdan Lewis? And if you look at the target-to-catch ratio, it's not that great. 3 targets, 3 catches, but they were only for 19 yards. Jourdan Lewis made a bunch of tackles, and 2 of those catches that he allowed came on 3rd down, and Lewis made a tackle short of the 1st down marker. That's fine with me. I still believe that Jourdan Lewis is a better pure football player than Anthony Brown. I think almost all of you in the comment section agree with me. Hopefully the Cowboys eventually see things the same way. I want Jourdan Lewis as your nickel back. I think he would be a fantastic player where his size won't be as big of an impediment as it's been on the outside in Chris Richard's scheme. Sign me up for Jourdan Lewis as your nickel back. Anthony Brown, I can live with it as your number 4 guy, but I hope it's Lewis, and hopefully the Cowboys eventually see things the same way. Before we get to the losers, folks, today's show is brought to you by The Guild. If you're going to come to a Cowboys game in Dallas and come visit me here, you got to stay with The Guild. Go to stayguild.com and use promo code ChatSports for 15% off your next stay. They're kind of like the luxury Airbnb, and you'll be happy you stayed with The Guild. On now to some losers, and, well, the offensive line continues to look like a disaster. And I'm actually very concerned about Cam Fleming. I thought he was going to be a really good swing tackle. I thought that was a great signing by the Cowboys. He has looked very good. I have no confidence right now in Cam Fleming to not be a bad player if Tyron Smith or La'el Collins gets hurt. He's been fine in the run game. He keeps getting beat in the passing game. He's allowing pressures. He's just getting manhandled with power and speed. I am very concerned about Cam Fleming right now. I don't think I trust him whatsoever. He's going to be your swing tackle because you're not going to find a better one on the open market right now unless you want to give up a big pick for a trade. We can revisit that next year in the draft, I guess. But here's to hoping Tyron Smith and La'el Collins play all 16 games because I don't want Cam Fleming out there right now. There's your look at the offensive line depth chart. You're going to take your first 5 guys. You're going to take Cam Fleming. You're going to take Kadeem Edwards. I think 1 or 2 guys come from a different team as well because guess what, folks? Chaz Green, he ain't making this roster. And if he does make the roster, I will have lost all faith in the Cowboys' personnel department because how could you put Chaz Green on the 53-man roster after he has gotten beat every single game we've seen him in? The reality is for Chaz Green, that Falcons game broke him. He is never going to recover from that game, and that's unfortunate for Chaz Green as a player and a person. But from the Cowboys' perspective, you got to cut ties now. And I'll be absolutely stunned if he does make it because he played pretty much every snap last week, and he wasn't very good. 2 sacks, 3 hurries, and a penalty, and he's getting beat almost every single play. It's tough to evaluate Mike White and Cooper Rush when their tackles are getting pushed back and beat almost every single play. So to answer this way in here, no, Chaz Green should not be on the field at all. Now, he's going to play in week 4 of the preseason because, well, Corin Curvin and Jake Campos really aren't actually any better, but I don't trust Chaz Green, and I don't see him making the Cowboys roster. So for those of you that want Chaz Green gone, you're going to get your wish. Another loser here, how about Lance Lenoir? And if you watched our watch party, you saw how angry I got at Lance Lenoir because I don't know why the Cowboys continue to put him on returns. Why are they doing that? He has not been good at camp on returns. He's never been good in games on returns. He muffed some plays last year. Now, the first fumble punt really wasn't fully his fault. Byron Jones kind of messed up too. But the other one, where he was running over his head, muffed the punt, and resulted in a Cardinals touchdown, hate that. I know the Cowboys like Lance Lenoir and that in reality he is a Jason Garrett guy. I don't really see why you need him on the roster. What does he do for the Cowboys that you can't find from almost any other receiver out there? I know he's a good guy. He can help out on special teams. He's a Garrett guy. He's never going to be anything more than a number 4 or number 5 receiver. You can find a more valuable player or position type than Lance Lenoir. So I would not put him on my roster if I were in charge of the Cowboys. He'd make it to the practice squad. No one's going to sign Lance Lenoir. He can get to your practice squad. Cut him and take a Rico Gathers instead. I think that's far more valuable than Lance Lenoir, who I know the Cowboys like. I don't think he's anything more than a backup wide receiver. You can find those guys pretty easily in today's NFL. Next up on the loser's side, well, Cooper Rush, kind of a no-brainer, right? He did not look good at all for the Cowboys and had the 2 picks. He didn't look comfortable whatsoever. And Rush's bad game led by many to call for a new backup quarterback. The Cowboys, though, as Jason Garrett said, they feel pretty good about Cooper Rush. Now, I think and hope this ends the Dak Prescott is worse than Cooper Rush truthers that I know exist and have engaged with because y'all are crazy. But I don't know if the Cowboys will add another veteran. In fact, I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to roll with Rush, and I kind of get the Cowboys' mindset. They're not going to dock Rush for one bad game, maybe two if you want to go back to last week too, because he was so good in the previous preseason. And granted, if you do have to play Cooper Rush, he's not going to be out there with Kadeem Edwards and Chaz Green and Cam Fleming. He'll be out there with Zach Martin and Tyron Smith and Zeke Elliott. He'll look better, even though he did not inspire much confidence against the Cardinals. We'll see how he fares in week 4. If he sucks again, I think it'll be only more concerning for the Cowboys and that backup quarterback spot. Another guy here on defense, and Marquise Huff. Look, Huff was coming off of an injury. The Cowboys needed guys just to play snaps against the Cardinals. They were so thin at safety. But Huff looked completely overmatched. He didn't look like he had any business being on the field right there. Didn't make a tackle and missed 2 of them because he took just awful angles. And we'll take a look at the Cowboys depth chart here at safety. Huff's not going to make this roster. He's going to get cut. He'll be, I think, one of the first guys cut when the Cowboys make their roster cuts downs between now and at 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. He won't make the roster. Hopefully the Cowboys can find somebody else because I do not trust that safety depth whatsoever right now. All right, folks, our next Cowboys Report mailbag will be on Saturday, so get your questions in the comments section. I'll tweet out a call as well. Anything you guys want on the Cowboys, let me know. If I don't get them in the show, I'll respond to them on Twitter as well. We'll see you on Thursday when I make my final Cowboys 53-man roster projection.